Hello, welcome to my channel StuckFiles. Today we will discuss about why it sucks to be a journeyman. You don't belong anywhere. Let's be honest, when people hear NBA journeyman, they think of a survivor. A guy who's done just enough to stick around. Not great, not terrible, just good enough to hop from one team to the next like a suitcase with legs. But they don't really know what that life feels like. They don't know what it's like to never unpack because you might get waived tomorrow. They don't know what it's like to walk into a new locker room again and feel the eyes. The unspoken. Who's this guy now? Silence. The way you blend in with the equipment bags more than the team. They don't know what it's like to memorize a playbook on a red-eye flight. Show up to practice jet lagged and still act grateful for the opportunity. And when your name pops up on that transaction report, again, you don't even flinch anymore. You've been signed and cut more times than you've scored in a game. You're a veteran of being temporary. Everywhere you go, you're new. You're replaceable. You're forget-able. You walk into one city with your hoodie on, head down. No fanfare, no celebration. Just another 10-day. Another 2-week patch. Another Band-Aid for a roster gap nobody will remember. You were never the guy. You're just a guy. And that's what people don't understand. Being a journeyman isn't just about changing jerseys. It's about never having a home in a league that says it's your dream. Section 1. Every locker room feels like the first day of school. You remember that first day of school feeling? New backpack, new faces, new teacher. You're the outsider. You don't know who to sit with at lunch, who's already tight, who's just being polite. Now imagine that, but it never ends. Every few months, you're the new kid in a locker room full of established friendships, inside jokes, unspoken chemistry. You walk in with your duffel bag and smile, and everyone gives you that look, not hostile, just indifferent. They're used to your type. Guys like you come and go. They dap you up, sure. But their bond is with the core. You're just another temporary teammate. A number, a jersey, a maybe. You know how much that eats at a player. You have to prove your worth instantly, but also not step on toes. You have to hustle your ass off in practice, but not outshine the young lottery pick they're trying to develop. You have to learn everyone's tendencies, habits, jokes, while knowing no one's learning yours. Because let's face it, they don't need to, and no one's investing in you long term. No one's building around you. No one's asking, what's your vision for this team? You're here to fill a role. And the moment they find someone younger, taller, faster, you're out. It's like walking a tightrope with no safety net. One misstep, a bad rotation, a missed assignment, and your name goes straight to the bottom of the depth chart. You start playing basketball with a calculator in your head. If I take this shot, will it look selfish? If I help on defense, will I leave my man too open? If I try too hard, will I mess up my standing? And here's the wild part. Even when you do everything right, you still might not stay. Because there's always a cheaper rookie, a flashier two-way, a new front office looking to shake things up. You don't control your destiny. You just delay the ending. And every time you walk into a new facility, hang your jersey on a new hook, tape your ankles under different lights, you feel it. This isn't home. This is just the next stop before you disappear again. Section 2. No system is built around you. When you're a star, the team bends to fit your strengths. When you're a journeyman, you bend yourself until you break. Every team you join already has a plan, a core, a system, a style. And you're an afterthought, a puzzle piece they found in the bottom of a drawer. And they're jamming you into a picture you were never part of. They don't sign you to build around you. They sign you to patch something. Got an injured shooter? Let's bring in a vet who can kind of shoot. Need a defender on a back-to-back? Let's sign a guy who won't complain. Need a body for practice to simulate playoff pace? Grab a journeyman that you're not asked what you do best, that are told what you're expected to be. You were a slashing scorer in college. Now you're a spot-up shooter who barely touches the ball. You used to run the offense in the G League. Now you're standing in the corner praying someone kicks it to you. You were a vocal leader overseas. Now you're quiet in team huddles because you're still learning names, and no matter how much film you watch, no matter how fast you adapt, the moment the original player returns or the rotation tightens, you're out, that you're not part of the foundation. You're drywall, temporary, disposable, replaceable. You ever try cooking in someone else's kitchen? All the tools are there, but nothing feels familiar. You're not sure where the knives are, which pan heats evenly, what spices they even have. That's what being a journeyman is like, that you're thrown into a system mid-season, expected to perform like you've been there since training camp. But you don't know the terminology. You don't know the tendencies. You don't know the culture, and you don't have a luxury of time to figure it out, that you're learning on the fly. Mistakes aren't lessons, they're liabilities. Miss one rotation, you're benched. Throw one risky pass, that's a mark against your IQ. Show hesitation, that's lack of confidence. Show too much aggression, that's not playing your role. There's no room to grow into your position. You either adapt instantly or get removed. What fans don't see is how demoralizing it is to know that you don't get to be yourself on the court, that you're not playing your game. You're playing survival. And the worst part? You don't even blame the coach that he didn't sign you for your future. He signed you for the next 2 weeks, that he's not trying to develop you. He's trying to get through the next stretch of games without breaking the system, that you're a tool in the box, not the blueprint. And it wears on you, not just physically, mentally, emotionally. Because every time you adjust who you are just to fit in, you lose a piece of who you were. That slasher turns into a decoy. That leader turns into a ghost. That hooper becomes a plug-in. But you do it anyway. Because if you don't adapt, you're gone. Because if you don't say yes, someone else will. Because if you speak up, you're labeled difficult. Because if you ask for your role to make sense, you're asking for too much. You smile. You nod. You do the job. Even when it makes no sense. Even when it's not what you trained for. Even when it's killing your love for the game. Because you know the truth. This isn't about thriving. It's about staying employed. And every once in a while, you do get the chance to shine. Injuries open up minutes. A teammate gets traded. The coach throws you in the mix out of necessity. You finally play your game. You finally remind the league what you can do. You finally feel like you belong. But just as quickly as the opportunity came, it disappears. The starter's back. The rotation shortens. The trade deadline passes. And you're back to being the guy who fits into other people's roles. Because no system is built around a journeyman. They only make space when they have no other choice. And that's what sucks the most. Section 3. The mental toll no one talks about. There's a part of being a journeyman that doesn't show up in the box score, but it's not the minutes, not the stats, not even the travel. It's the silent war happening in your head. Every day, every city, every team. Because when your career is a revolving door, you stop asking where you belong and start wondering if you ever did. You land in a new city again. You smile from media day photos again. You shake hands with teammates who don't remember playing against you last year. Again, and every time you look in the mirror, there's this quiet question creeping in. Am I really still chasing this? You're constantly packing, unpacking, renting, staying in team hotels, living in someone else's system, eating alone in team cafeterias. You have no roots. Your house is a storage unit. Your family is long distance. Your friendships? Mostly gone. Your routine? Reset every time you switch zip codes. That it's not just tiring. It's emotionally disorienting. You watch guys with worse numbers than you get guaranteed deals. You see players who can't guard a shadow get starting roles because they're flashy. You know the politics. You've seen the favoritism, but you can't speak on it. You don't have the security that you swallow it again and again. You become a master of internalizing everything. frustration, Lonnie Lioness, fear. You show up to practice with the same energy as the star, knowing full well you won't play more than 6 minutes tonight. If at all, you lock in during film. You clap during timeouts. You high-five after losses. All because that's your job, to be the steady hand, the quiet vet, the glue guy. But who's holding you together? Who's checking in on your mental health? Who's asking if you're okay bouncing around like this for 8 years straight? Who's there when the lights are off and you're alone in your hotel bed at 2 a.m. wondering if the league even notices you exist? No one died. Because you're not a star, that you're not a rookie investment, that you're not a media story, that you're just a journey. Man, and let's talk about pressure for a second. Journeymen don't have off nights. They can't afford them that a starter has a bad game. He gets a bounce-back narrative. You have a bad game, you're washed. You're not worth the minimum. You're cut able. Every second on the court is a test you didn't get to study. 4.1 bad rotation, 0.1 hesitation on a shot, 0.1 sloppy turnover. And you're benched for 2 weeks, or worse, you're sent packing before the post-game interview even finishes. Imagine that level of tension night after night. That IT doesn't just drain your body. It drains your identity. You stop playing for the love of the game. You start playing just to stay in the room. And eventually this self-doubt kicks in. I was supposed to be more than this. I gave everything to this game, and this is how it treats me. Why am I still chasing minutes at 33 when I was dropping 25 a night in Europe? You try not to look at your career stats. You try not to compare contracts. You try not to open social media and see fans asking why you're still on the roster. But it happens. And no matter how mentally tough you are, it builds up that IT wears down your confidence, your passion, your sense of worth. Not because you're weak, but because the system treats you like you don't matter, and eventually you start to believe it. But here's the wild part. You don't quit. You keep showing up, keep working out, keep studying tape, keep flying to the next city, keep lacing up your sneakers, keep pretending like everything's okay, because you still love the game, even if the game stopped loving you back a long time ago. Section 4, no legacy. No cheers. No goodbye. Let's talk about what happens when it's all over. Not for the stars. Not for the franchise players. Not even for the fan favorites. Let's talk about what happens when a journeyman's career ends. Because here's the cold truth. Most journeymen don't retire. They just stop getting calls out. An press conference. An farewell tour. Highlight reel on social media. Just silence point one day. You're flying city to city, suiting up, hoping this team sticks. The next, you're staring at your phone. No invites, no contracts, no updates. And that silence is louder than any crowd you ever played in front of. You start wondering, was that it? Is my last NBA moment already behind me? Did anybody even notice I'm gone? You scroll through your own career on Basketball Reference. The numbers are modest. The years are scattered. The teams? Too many to remember without Googling. And the saddest part, even you don't know what your legacy is supposed to be. Superstars get murals. Journeymen get mispronounced on podcasts. Stars have farewell games where arenas stand and cheer. Journeymen get a text from their agent. Nothing this year. We'll keep looking. There's no closure, and celebration, and final handshake from the game. And what hurts more than anything is realizing the fans never really knew you were there. They knew the starters, the legends, the rookies with hype. But you were that guy who played for a few teams, but no one can remember which ones. You were the extra name in the trade, the player added for salary reasons. The guy who played 11 minutes in a playoff blowout and guarded a superstar just long enough for ESPN to mislabel you in a highlight. You gave everything and left nothing behind that anyone else saw. You ever seen a kid wearing a journeyman's jersey at the park? Nope, because they don't sell those, that there's no nostalgia for your number, an custom shoot, an signature move. Your career is a collection of stints, not a story, and that kills you. because you remember everything that you remember hitting. That clutch 3 in Cleveland when no one expected you to play that you remember guarding KD for 5 possessions and holding your own that you remember flying coach to a G League showcase after playing 70 games the season before that you remember every injury, every practice, every moment you put your pride to the side just to stay in the league. But the world doesn't remember you. And that's what makes it hurt. Because deep down, every player dreams of the moment. Just one dot where the crowd screams. Your name, where your jersey gets hung, where someone says, this guy mattered. But for Journeyman, that moment never comes. And '01 makes documentaries about your hustle. And '01 builds statues for your sacrifices. And '01 interviews you once the spotlight fades. You just fade with it. And when you're gone, really gone, the league moves on like you were never there. Your old teams draft new talent. Your old coaches forget your name. Even your teammates, the ones you helped, mentored, picked up when they were down, move forward without even a text. You weren't part of their core. You were just passing through. And that's the tragedy of the journeyman. You give everything, but when it's done, you get nothing in return. In legacy to, in cheers, and goodbye. Just an empty locker and a quiet ride home. Section 5, but still, you keep showing up that you've been overlooked, forgotten, moved, cut, doubted, passed around like a duffel bag full of potential that no one wants to unpack, that you've walked into more locker rooms than most guys have career wins. You've been called a good vet, a solid presence, a team guy all code for. We don't really see you, but thanks for existing. You've watched teammates younger than your little brother get guaranteed contracts, that you've seen guys with hype but no heart get the spotlight, that you've had front offices call you valuable, then never call back again. Why do you keep showing up? Why keep grinding when the game doesn't grind for you? Why lace up when you know your name won't be in the recap? Why run those suicides when your contract could disappear by lunch? Because somewhere deep inside you, there's a voice that says, this is what I do, not for clout, not for legacy, not even for the next deal. You do it because you love the game, not the business, not the politics, not the false hope, the game, the feel of the hardwood under your shoes, the rhythm of the net when the shot is pure, the smell of the locker room, sweat and tape and focus, the silence just before the ball tips, and everything makes sense that you've been through more teams than some guys have had birthdays, but you never cheated the work. Not once. You show up to workouts like it's a job interview, because in your world, it always is. You train in empty gyms with no cameras rolling. You study playbooks you might never use. You travel with the team knowing there's a 50-50 chance you don't play. You keep yourself in game shape all year. Not because you're on a roster, but because one might call you tomorrow. You stay mentally ready, emotionally disciplined, physically sharp, even when the only person who expects you to do that is you. And when you do get minutes, you defend like your career depends on it, because it does. You set hard screens. You call out switches. You dive on the floor like the playoffs started yesterday. You give up shots you deserve to get rookies their confidence. You pass when you could shoot that you're bound out of your position because no one else will. You make stars look better. You make systems work smoother. You make winning easier and nobody talks about it. That's what a journeyman does. And glory and guarantees. Just grind. And maybe, just maybe, that makes you stronger than the stars. Because they get the lights, they get the love, they get the legacy. But you get up without any of it. You show up when no one's watching. You lead from behind. You succeed in silence. That takes a different kind of toughness. The kind they don't teach at AAU camps. The kind they don't measure at the combine. The kind you build mile by mile, cut by cut, contract by contract. You are the bridge. You are the example. You're the guy in every locker room who holds the whole thing together and never takes credit that you're the first one in the gym, the last one off the bench, the only one. Still grinding even when it's obvious no one's watching. That's not weak. That's not sad. That's not failure, that's heart. And whether the fans know your name or not, whether the league remembers you or not, the game does. The game remembers the ones who never quit, never complained, never stopped showing up, because deep down, that's what a journeyman is. Not a forgotten player, but an unshakable one. As we deeply discussed everything in 5 sections. So now you know the truth they never tell you. When you're young and dreaming of the league, no one tells you about this. They don't tell you that making it isn't the hardest part. Staying is, they don't tell you that talent alone won't keep you in the room. That being good isn't enough when you're not marketable. That working hard only matters when someone's watching. And for journeymen, they rarely are. They don't tell you that the league is a machine. And if you're not a headline, a highlight, or a future investment, your background, noise, even when you've given it everything. They don't prepare you for the mental fatigue, the emotional detachment, the forced humility. They don't explain how it feels to be needed, but never wanted that you're respected, in theory, appreciated behind closed doors. Remembered by coaches, maybe, but never by fans. And when it's over, when your phone stops ringing, when your name stops trending, when even the G League stops calling, there's no closure, just space, but maybe, just maybe, that's what makes you stronger than most. Because the journeyman didn't get to play for the spotlight, that he played because he loved the grind, that he played because deep down, there's still that kid inside, hooping on a cracked driveway, counting down imaginary game winners in, his head dreaming of this life. And even if this life didn't love him back the way he hoped, he kept showing up at the next time you see a no-name player check into the game with 3 minutes left. The next time you see a guy on his 7th team in 6 years. The next time you forget someone's name right after reading it in the box score. Remember this. That guy has lived through everything your favorite player was protected from. That he fought for his roster spot like it was oxygen. He gave his career to the league and asked for nothing but a chance. He carried the pressure of perfection with no promise of security. And he still laced them up every damn night. That's not weakness. That's not failure. That's not IR relevant. That's courage. This is what they don't show you in the documentaries. This is what they don't celebrate at All-Star Weekend. This is what's missing from the jersey retirements and Hall of Fame speeches. This is why it sucks to be a journeyman. Not because the journey is hard, but because the journey is invisible and he walks it anyway.